Welcome to the show. Today we're talking digital transformation and AI for small business. How to work smarter, save time, and stay competitive without big budgets or tech teams. As always, we have Bruce Baker of Workplaces, a business coach and consultant who helps small companies streamline operations and grow using simple, proven tools. We'll break this down into plain steps that you can use this week. So let's talk about question number one. What does digital transformation really mean for a small business?
Yeah. So, Trevor, thanks for having me again. I think the number one is people think digital, they think transformation. It's not big. It's not complicated. It's simple, small, to the point. And when we talk about small things, we talk about just automating a few things. So, for instance, everything is on paper. Typically, get it off paper and put it on a form. Things are, still today, people have the traditional Rolodex, right? Instead of doing that, if you've got lists of contacts or customers, put it into a CRM. Now, we've also been talking a lot about AI over the last couple of months. AI is going to make it even better, but start small with just transforming your paper-based, everything that's manual. Try to get it online, try to automate it, and I'm assuming we're going to talk a lot more about that today for sure.
All right. Now, where should a business start without feeling too overwhelmed?
Well, the big thing is asking yourself the question, what do I do every day that really just takes so much time? It's so manual. And man, if I had my fairy godmother in front of me and I had one wish, what would I wish for to make that a little bit easier for me? So whether it's filling out forms, whether it's sending emails, invoices, whatever you want to do, at the end of the day, those small little things are where we can start to automate and we can start to take away that administrative burden from you, at least the manual administrative burden from you.
All right. What are some of the easiest AI wins right now for small business?
Oh, great question. The easiest AI wins, or the most impressive AI wins lately, is automation and communication. And when we talk about that, we think about, I have to get my new customer into my CRM. When I get my new customer into my CRM, I remember I have to create reoccurring invoices. So the one client that I work with, that reoccurring invoicing and creating a new customer or client file or folder. When we automate that tends to go away. The manual stuff tends to go away. So for instance, when we add a new client into our CRM or client details, it automatically creates the invoicing and reoccurring invoicing. It creates a client folder with all its subfolders, if that's what you want to do. And then, assuming that it's connected to a program like QuickBooks Online, it then will automatically send and receive, depending on what you're doing in terms of your payments. The other quick automations that we have are email templates. So traditionally, we go into whatever system, whether we're in sales or marketing, for instance, and it's always, I have to respond to the client this way, but I have to use this template, I have to use that template, so it's searching those templates, as opposed to using an AI automation that actually selects the right template and makes recommendations. So give you 3 ideas on how I can respond to this client or this customer in order to achieve this objective. So small little things like that go a long way for a lot of businesses.
All right. So let's talk about prompts. So how do you write a good AI prompt or instructions for the AI model if you're not a technical person?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the interesting part is a prompt is something that, or at least a good engineered prompt is something not too dissimilar to providing clear expectations to your employee or someone when it comes to performance objectives. When it comes to AI, the very first thing to do before you think about putting your prompt down is, number one, who you want your AI, whether it's GPT, Claude, Perplexity, whatever you want to use, who do you want that person to be? I want you to be my certified financial advisor, and I want you to do the following. So first and foremost, who do you want it to be? The second thing is what you want it to create. I want you to be my certified financial advisor and provide me with 3 options or strategies that I can use to do X. Once you're done with that, I need you to complete it in a Google Sheet, in a database, and email that to me at the end of every month, right? So you'll notice in summary, it's who you want it to be, give it a character, what you want it to create, and how you want it to deliver it to you. That's it. And that is a really simple, powerful prompt.
All right. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Now, what are some basic tools that every small business should have in place?
When we talk about basic tools, I'm leaving AI out of this for now.
Okay.
Basic tools meaning a digital foundation. Digital foundation means, a very good email system. And when I say email system, I talk about an Outlook or a Gmail or any email client that provides you with calendar, email integration, and maybe a few tasks associated with that. The second one is a project management tool. Now, it depends on industry, but every industry really has some other or some kind of project that they have to go through. And with a project, it includes different parts or stages of that project. And a big part of each stage is keeping up with what are the tasks that need to be completed. So a project management system. And when I say these systems as well, it doesn't have to be expensive. In most cases, there are a lot of free solutions out there. The other thing which is quite significant in these days is password managers. And password managers is something that it's an absolutely liberating experience when you get to start using these. Everybody today, or I shouldn't say everybody, but most people today are either writing down their passwords and usernames in their little black book, or are putting all their usernames and passwords in an Excel file or a Google Sheet. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that as long as the sheet is password protected. Is that the right way of doing things from a cybersecurity standpoint? Not exactly. But we won't get into the cybersecurity part. What's more important is convenience and efficiency. We're talking about a digital transformation. So in this case, a password manager, a good password manager, is going to provide you with the features of being able to automatically save your username and password. But what's really cool and makes it quick is signing in. So depending on the password manager, depending on how you change the settings or set things up, it'll automatically fill in your username and password and allow you to log in. On top of that, your password manager also provides you with what we call as two-factor authentication, or 2FA is what people talk about. So that's that little code, 6-digit code for the most part, that you put in to authenticate you. Again, a lot of people struggle with that because where can I find that damn code? Right. And a lot of password managers offer you a two-factor authentication. So all these things said and done, they're all there to do, other than the security part, they're all there to do one thing, is to make this stuff seamless and to make it efficient. And going back to a previous conversation, Trevor, that you and I had was about profitability and cash management. Mm-hmm. Remember, profitability is made up of 2 core components. The first is money, and the second is time. If you can save the money and you can use the time efficiently, your profitability goes up. Most of what we're talking about now, short of a digital transformation, again, which is not complicated, but a digital transformation is there not to make you look fancy. It's there to save you time. If you're doing these things, don't take my word for it, but if you're doing these things and you're saving yourself the time, you're creating a more profitable process, a more profitable business, and that's what it's all about.
Okay, so how can you roll out new tech to your team without stressing them out?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that stressing out, because that's not what you want to do. As soon as people see adversity, or as soon as people see something like, oh, geez, the boss is going to, make us roll out this new tool and it's just terrible and it's a brutal experience, people reject it. What we want to do is any new process, or let me rephrase, any process that is highly administratively burdensome that we want to roll out, number one, do it in a pilot. And for those who don't really understand what a pilot is that it's a small, let's say, 3 people in the sales team for that particular process that you want to test, right? Do it for, let's say, a 30-day period. Also tell your team that this is a pilot and we'd like to test out to see if it's actually worthwhile implementing. As soon as you say worthwhile implementing, the team understands that, okay, we're giving this a try. It's not necessarily going to be the system we're going to use, but we're going to give it a try. And you get a lot more from your team as you go through those pilots. At the end of the day, at the end of the pilot, or even through the pilot, your team has the opportunity to give you some feedback. What worked, what didn't work, and helps you move forward and creates that adoption rate much quicker.
Do you have a quick success story that you could share with us about implementing new systems?
Absolutely, yeah. So we went through a process yesterday with one of our clients. It was all about process flow and understanding each step of the process. We got to the project coordinator where we had asked, well, what do you do? What does your position do at this point? The project coordinator responds by saying, well, I check to see if there's any inventory. Mm-hmm. If there isn't, I go purchase. If there is, then we move forward. One of the machinists that popped up and said, well, that's where the problem is because we don't necessarily have it all accurate. It's all in your head. And that's when I stopped because it's a great opportunity to talk about automation and say, well, why keep it all in your head? Well, I've been here for 15 years. I know my job extremely well. I said, well, what happens if you go down to Mexico for 6 weeks? Then who's going to do what? That's the one problem. The other problem is that she just can't keep it all in her head. And by the time she gets to the machinist and asks for the job to start working through, the job can't because we don't have enough stock or inventory. Having a live sheet or having a live system, which we actually did implement, and believe it or not, we used AI with this, but it was a simple Google sheet where we used to connect the stock or inventory on the sheet with a little tool. For some people may know the tool Zapier. Yep. And Zapier creates a connection. So when this happens. So we create a trigger and this what happens. So what we did was we're actually connecting, because we're not done yet, but we're actually connecting the Google Sheet. So whenever material or inventory is used, Zapier connects it and updates the inventory, the amount of items within that certain SKU. And what it's doing is actually keeping or creating a live spreadsheet, a live inventory track, which means that the machinist can see the inventory and she can see the inventory. So as soon as a new job comes through, it preempts them to say that before the job can even start, we need to order X. Then she goes ahead and she initiates the purchase order to get the process flowing. So what happens is that we've taken probably, I'd say, about 30 to 40% of wasted time going up and down because you think this is what you have in inventory, but you don't really have that in inventory. So we've started to automate that, which creates a lot of efficiency.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So what is one small thing that an owner can do today to get started on this path?
Yeah. It's actually, and I'm probably going to geek out a little bit over here, but it's actually a lot of fun when you can sit back and you can think to yourself, what is it that I do on a regular basis that is so manual, that is so administratively burdensome? And man, like again, going back to my fairy godmother, if I had one wish, what do I do on a regular basis? I could just automate that and just not do that, right? And think about the steps. There are 5 steps, let's say, for example, and if I didn't have to do this every single day as I came in, what could I do to make that just disappear? You'd be absolutely surprised at what you come up with, because I would say at least 9 times out of 10, that process that's taking all that manual time away from you, that process can be automated. Start there and then ask the question, can this be automated? And if so, what do I need to do to make it a reality? And in today's times with AI and automation, you're probably gonna automate that and get that out of your manual routine every single day.
Awesome. That's great. So a lot of great things we covered today. If you're not using AI yet, you should probably learn how, because people are going to, you're going to be bypassed if you don't learn how to use these tools to help automate and simplify some of your business processes. So thanks again for sharing with us today. And if you guys are looking for some help, you need some help with some automation and improving your systems and processes for your business, talk to Bruce at Workplaces. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Thanks.